I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Get this dashboard right. Let's get situated and prepare the bookies for another fight. It's been a glorious day already. I hope you guys have been having a good time on this hot streak that we've been running with here. It's been a glorious, look, I say 2 days, but man, we've been firing. Even our bad days are still up a unit here. It's been very, very, very successful. I'm knocking on wood because I don't want to jinx it here. I'm very superstitious, as you guys may or may not know, but wow. We did it again last night, and we did it in raging fashion. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got baseball action. We've got Cleveland and Detroit. We've got, that's a 6:40 pop-off. A's in Boston, 6:45 pop-off. Toronto and Tampa, 7 o'clock pop-off. I believe 7:40 are the Yankees and the Twins. Nightcap in Philadelphia and the Dodgers. I've fastened together a 2-leg parlay. We've got WNBA playoffs. There's 2 games tonight. I'm going to give you one of the looks that I think will cook the books. I'm going to give you an NFL play. We've already laced out one NFL play this weekend. I've got another one for you tonight. And I'm going to add something for tomorrow because I expect by the time tomorrow rolls around, this line will drop like a rock. In college football, the standalone Thursday night game. Now, there is a Thursday night NFL game, so bear that in mind. But, man, what a day. Now, full disclosure. Need the Diamondbacks to complete a sweep today. So I'm going to knock on wood again, because as soon as you say that, what happens, right? They got runners on first and third. The Diamondbacks just had bases loaded to close out the game with 1 out. They couldn't bring anybody across the finish line. So that sucks. It's kind of that, it's kind of that, oh, fuck moment when you're in the 9th inning and that shit goes down. So maybe hindsight, maybe the takeaway, that's where you live bet yourself out of there on plus money the other way, and you're guaranteed to get plus money either way. I'm not sure. I don't really like doing that, though. I like to kind of get my side and own it, and win or lose. At least we own it. At least it's consistent. It's concise. It's articulate. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about tonight's card. Like I said, we got a college football game to add to for tomorrow. It's the Island game for tomorrow. I don't think you want to miss this breakdown. We've got the NFL Thursday night football. Bills in Miami. I don't know. I'm going to go on a limb and say, now I got to break it down. Honestly, I didn't have a tough time today. Or I didn't have a lot of time today, I should say. I had a tough time today. The days have been melting away. I've got some other things going on that have kept me preoccupied. I just have this sneaky suspicion. This is like, there's a run from San Francisco. I can't see Miami comes into Buffalo and wins outright, but 12.5 points, boys and girls. 2 big defensive linemen or defensive bodies out for that Buffalo Bills team as well. So Ed Oliver, he's been out, but a big defensive tackle, and Matt Milano, linebacker. I mean, both those guys have kind of been injury prone. I don't know. I just don't know. How do you lay 12.5? Although it's been so damn successful. First half goes over, second half goes under. I don't know. Just talking out loud. All right, let's get to work. Transparency is crucial. And it's a lot of fun when you're winning. Let's be honest. Yesterday was a banger with no mash. Just straight banger. 6.5 units here. Glorious day. Yeah, I told you guys the strike price. I told you the strike strategy. Under 7.5 cashed in Pittsburgh. Under 8.5 cashed in Pittsburgh. Gave to you both. I told you I was taking them again. Got a little sweaty. 4-1 was the final. But they cashed. Said, are you taking them 7.5? I said, yep, 7.5 and 8.5. I wanted 8.5. I should have just been a little more patient when Cubs went up 1-0. Guardians cashed, plus 120. Mets did not. Or I should say the Mets won. San Diego did not cash. Mets meted me again. Toronto wins in a sweaty 6-5 battle. Minnesota does not win. 10-9, though. They came back at the end. They gave it a shot. I didn't even live bet that one, so I'm kind of glad I stayed away. I probably the play was to grab like a plus 3.5. I'm a big proponent. If you see a plus 4.5 on a live spot where the trend said they were going to win outright or potentially going to win outright, I don't mind taking if it's plus 4.5, drop that back to 3.5 and make that nice little plus 140, something like that. But I had them on plus 140 and didn't matter. They lost. Baltimore won 8-7. They hung on to a nail biter, minus 105 cashed. Freddie Peralta gets himself 8 strikeouts, and the Milwaukee team total goes over 3.5. I'll tell you what, we might have been the most unique sons of bitches out there. We got a plus 133 off that game, and we didn't have to sweat. That's what you got to know. That's what you got to recognize. We took a big minus, what were they, 250, 300, something like that? We just threw that right away. Minus 1.5 was still like minus 160. We said, nope. We think we can find plus. We could extract plus money out of this thing. And we did. Plus 133, Peralta over 7.5 strikeouts, and the team total over 3.5. We finished it up. And they're doing it again tonight. This is where I said the bookies, man. They're just too busy with the NFL and college football. Over 7.5. Again, was that not the easiest? I mean, the Phillies won. Shout out to them fighting Phils in Red October. 9-6. I mean, both teams almost went over the 7.5. And you're giving it to us again. If they give it, we will take it. All I can say. Now, we are 14-4 in our last 2 days worth of plays because we cashed the lone WNBA game I gave you guys last night. Wrong team was favored. A little sweaty though in that first half. I gave you Seattle Storm first half plus 2.5. I'd given out to Winnable at plus 3 earlier in the afternoon. That's the benefit of kind of getting some of those premium plays early because yeah, we'll talk about some of them here. There's still some uniquers out there. We'll talk about that in a second, but didn't matter. 45-44. And then Seattle goes on to win the game. So quite the day. Now this 14-4 run, let's not forget, it doesn't include like the 6-1 Monday Night Football stuff we went on because I did that in a separate show. The record that we're keeping here is only for pre-gaming and silver and gold access that's given out on the post tab. That's it. Just trying to be clean and clear with it. And because I didn't give out those football plays here, can't count them here. So that's okay. It's okay. Remember, don't forget, we gave out a 39 unit MLB parlay, 5-6 legger. We didn't count that either. Just look, we're up. We're crushing it. We're consistently firing. And some of those little fuck around and have fun spots, it just, you know what it does? I mean, you could put it in there if you want to feel good. You know, some guys would be like, oh, we're up, blah, blah, blah on parlays. And that's fine. I'm 4-6 in my last 4-2 in my last 6 primetime same game parlays. It's fine. But it kind of just skews things, you know? It's like, do we need this? Do we need the fucking honorable mention? Does the last place guy need a trophy? I mean, you know, let's be honest here. And as we're looking at things across the board, it's just been glorious. If we look at baseball, now this doesn't count today. Can Arizona scooch one across for us? That's what we need. We need 2 actually at this point because they done fucked around and they're in the process of finding out. 3. Oh, fuck. 3-0. Oh, fuck. All right. Well, whatever. We're up 127 units in the MLB this season. It was a tough August. Post All-Star break there was like a 2-week stint that was a little shaky. Actually, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Whoa. What's going on here? Oh, I see what happened. Excuse me. Let me restate our position. We're up 129.5 units on baseball this season. It was still a little shaky after the All-Star break, so that's okay. We found our footing. I just bit my tongue again. Get excited when I start mentioning triple-digit units. And remember, they're all flat bets, all 1-unit bets. Just one. Just a single push of the button. And we keep them consistent because we cast the wider net. We already poked holes in that theory that you swing a bigger hammer if you're betting big units. You're not. You're actually losing money. We talked about it. The $500 bettor that backs his bet down to $350 plays 30% more games, increases his profit. I'm sorry. Plays 17% more action, increases his profit by almost 50%. Moving from $500 to $350. So who gives a fuck? If you want to be a $100 unit bettor, you be a $100 unit bettor. You want to be a 50 or a 10 or even a $5 unit bettor. It don't matter. A $10 unit bettor, well, they're up pretty fucking big. $100 unit bettor in baseball this year is up $12,900 in one season. So, very excited. Now, the NFL's starting out pretty decent. It's preseason that's kind of getting us there, but we're up about 9 units in the NFL this year. Now, I mentioned some extra plays out there. Love to support those that support us. We are not big business owner operated. We need you guys to be involved in supporting our channel, and we need your help. We need you to promote the channel. Help let them know, man. We're doing this thing for free. We're putting the hard work in. I was thinking about this afternoon as I was driving around. I said to myself, you know what the difference is between us and most everybody else? What makes us different? We're actually making these bets. We're not just getting thrown a game and saying, go break it down. I don't give a fuck to hear your breakdown. If you don't have enough courage and gumshoe to bet it, I don't want to hear about it. Keep it to yourself. I don't need you to go through and pick a bunch of shit games and then start telling me you're not betting them. No. I mean, maybe that's what people want to hear. I don't want to hear that. If you can't bet it with your own money, keep it to your fucking self. And I think that's what makes it so different here, because it's real. When we grind this card out at this time slot, when we leverage our tools, our technology, our expertise, and we sit around all day marinating on the card, this is where we fire up and we get it done. So let's attack. I mentioned ways to support us here, of course. Thumbs up button, most important thing you guys can do. But think about way of tipping the dealer. You win a big hand at blackjack, you tip the dealer, right? You throw him a nick, a 10, a 20, a Barney, if you're winning massive money. Here, you can shoot on over to Winnable. You can jump on a 30-day pack for like $20, get all the plays and the extras. And it comes right to the house, right to the guys that you're supporting out there with sports money. It's your boy, Mikey Money. I'm inviting you to join the Sports Money crew on Winnable. Get all of our premium best bet selections.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays sent straight to your phone right when you need them.
Don't wait. Don't guess. Don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
And you can go sign up for free. There's a free access plan out there. Free plays sent out. Try to send one out every day. Something that either didn't make my card, it was like my first cut, or it's something that popped up late, or try not to do too much live betting because that's not really fair. People can't necessarily get in there, and San Fran's putting the boots to the ass right now. But look, just an example of what the Win Club was able to take home this weekend or this past couple of days here. Monday Night Football. We went 3-1. We lost the Texans. We won the Chargers. We cashed Nico Collins touchdown plus 120, and we cashed Quentin Johnston touchdown plus 215. Then we rolled on through. And yesterday, Champions League play, it was a free play. Again, free plays. These are going out to you guys if you sign up for email or text alert. Arsenal and regulation cashed. Extra winner there. For the Winnable guys yesterday, I was fucking around after I sent some plays out there, and I said, you know what? Let me check this out. Atlanta Braves win game 1. The Miami Marlins win against the Rockies. There's a plus 180 price tag. I talked about ways to hedge that here on the show. Yesterday, I gave out the Seattle Storm first half plus 3 early. It went down to 2.5, so we beat the line a little bit there. I also gave the Win Club subscribers Indiana Fever plus 4. That was a winner. Let's see. What else? Oh, well, of course. How can I not? Let me see. Did I give it out here? Or did I just give that one to Sub? Did Sub just get a free one and I forgot to put it here? Anyhow, my point is plenty of action. We try to get it out there early for you guys as well. And that's my 2 cents on that. So appreciate everybody that does support us. You know the deal. Now let's get to business. Let's talk about the best damn chat in the business and their best bets. But before we do that, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. Let YouTube know this community continues to grow. I could have sworn. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. I sometimes you got to click refresh. Winnable subscribers also got Bodo. Both teams to score over 2.5 today at even money, easy cash. So there are some extras out there. Appreciate everybody that does support us. Again, you guys know the deal. We're ready to rock. We're ready to fire. Some strange, I told you guys yesterday, some strange databases I got involved with. So anyhow, spamming like crazy. Apparently the loan department's calling to modify the offer that they never made, and they're offering me $100K. I haven't called you back in any of the 5,000 times you've called me. What would make you think I'm interested in your loan modification that I never applied for? The Cincinnati Reds cashed earlier today for us. The under 8.5 cash for us in the Chicago White Sox spot there. We've got the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll see what happens out there. We're going to get to business. You guys know the deal. Get them plays in the chat. I'm going to shout you boys and girls out. Flea Mathis is here. Gary Ferenc says, evening boys. Pops on a heater. Redbeard Jays first 5 -0.5. Mariners first 5 Moneyline. Redbeard says, what's up, Pops? What's up, Pops? Stop Geo says, let's get this shit, my people. Mr. Tomatoes says, the time is now. We have a golden ticket to fun coupons. Yes, sir, we do. Tigers Moneyline, Yankees Moneyline, and Red Sox and Liberty Moneyline parlay. Paid in full. Mikey Pimp Smack. Let's get him, my dude. Peter Grassi says, sup, Mikey? Grab Pitt down early plus 5.5 and over 11.5 parlay. Nasty Nate says the Red Sox smash. We'll find out. Robert McCormick's here. Nasty Nate says, I'm up 6 units on the day. Baseball well at work. There you go, my dude. Good job. Congrats. Nicholas Handy, Phil the Kill says, beautiful MLB run you've been on, man. Thank you. Rose Miller says, dollar bills, y'all. Money. Peter Grassi says, Padres remind me of the Mets collapse. David says, hey, Mike, great show. Thanks, David. Appreciate you. Kenny Wood, what up? Phil the Kill says, it's disrespectful line. Let's go more bets, says Rose. Phil the Kill says, right, you need a bet volume during baseball season, which is separate from other sports. Football is the only one I think is different, and specifically the NFL. But I don't disagree with you. Stop Geoengineering says, Mike, trying to lead me to water. I just ain't drinking it. Shake my fucking head. Irish King. Let's go. Let's get to the bag. Nicholas Handy. Irish King's got Tampa Bay Moneyline. Cleveland Moneyline. Run it back. Joe W. says, cheers. Redbeard says, hard sell with the Eagles highlights. It's one highlight. It's one Eagles highlight. And then there's a Connor McDavid highlight in there, who, by the way, still hasn't signed his contract. Remember a couple years ago when I said, does Connor McDavid win a Stanley Cup with Edmonton or anybody else? And that was probably 4 years ago. I don't have the crystal ball. Just know how to read the tea leaves. Irish King cashed heavy bags yesterday. Says insane night. Jay Main's here. Bill the Kill says, well, I had the Diamondbacks -1.5, and now ill after these. Yeah, man, that sucked, especially in the ninth inning. Chicago Cubs -1.5 and San Francisco money line for Irish King. Says missed out on Cincinnati. Ramon Scott's been running so hot. He says great play with the both teams to score in the over in the Bodo game, Mikey, in the win club. There you go, Ramon. Bill the Kill says, thankfully, I have a huge MLB bankroll thanks to sports money. I'm not sweating it. No, you shouldn't. If you're sweating it, it's because you're playing too much. And there's a fine line. We talked about that, right? Between I want to puke my guts out when they lose and I don't quite feel the win. Somewhere in between there is that happy medium. Irish King says McDavid won't sign. Is there a bet for that? I'm not sure. Redbeard can't wait for hockey. They start preseason hockey on Saturday. I think is it 20? It's October 4th, 3rd, something like that. Ted B says, what up, Big Mike? I had the Reds, Pirates, first 5 over in the White Sox game, the Diamondbacks 2-2. I had a small bet on the Pirates over, but I couldn't get it out there in time. It was like 22-0 or something like that to the over. Felt good. Cashed. But I only want to talk to you guys about what we can get in on, and this game's going to pop off, so let's get in on a big swing to pop the top on the day and make the bookies' panties drop. How about that as we fire off the Cleveland Guardians? The under. We lost the under yesterday. Actually, no, we had the Cleveland Guardians here. But the under was a loser because late inning heroics. Hey, maybe the Diamondbacks can make something happen. They got one. What's they got? They got 2 outs. I knew in the bottom of the ninth, I was able to dismiss that when it was a loss. I was still optimistic, but realistic at the same time. You got bases loaded with 1 out in the ninth inning. You can't scratch one across that bullpen. You're probably in some trouble. And this line is in trouble because it started at +142 on the Guardian side of things. It's now +125, $1.25. 40% of the bets, 58% of the cash on the Guardians, and the line has shown respect. We care about that because they don't build those big shiny castles in the majority of the public loses. I look at that percentage of bets column as the public. I look at the percentage of money column as the sharps. I want to know what the bookies need. And this total opened at 8.5. It's moved down to 8 with 94% of the bets and 90% of the cash on the under. I'm sorry, on the over. Excuse me. 94% of the bets on the over, 90% of the cash on the over. And it's gone from 8.5 to 8. So that's pretty much where we jump into play with this game. Looking at this number top to bottom, yeah, it's Flaherty, but it's Gavin Williams, 3.16 ERA for Gavin Williams. And I still want to back Flaherty. I just kind of feel like Detroit, yes, up and down, but I feel like right now they're just in that buy pattern sell pattern. And we sold on them yesterday. I mean, look, they had a tough series against the Yankees. Then they played the Miami Marlins on the road again, back-to-back roaders. They took that out. The only one they got was a 2-0 shutout win. And what happens after a team gets shut out? They lost. It was an explosive game yesterday, 7-5. And again, the Guardians came through on top of that one. The Guardians spent the majority of August, like my boy Sharpie says, they were under the bridge and they're lactose intolerant. But man, they come out there against the Royals, a team that's semi-playoff position, fired. Busted up the White Sox, played defensive ball. That's what Cleveland kind of does, right? They've got them aging players, the Ramirez guys and such. And yeah, by the way, Speaking of that Mets game yesterday, I know we talked about it live, but I'll recap it and talk about how Polar Bear hit a fucking home run in the second inning. What'd I say? I'll bet on the Mets, they'll lose. I'll bet against the Mets, they'll win, and it'll probably be Polar Bear that gets a home run. Yeah. And we talked about this game, and we talked a little bit about the likes of Jose Ramirez. Now, I didn't get there with any Ramirez action. Matter of fact, my player props have been kind of spun down at this point of the season because of, I don't know, maybe I'm just a pussy. Maybe that's part of it. But Jose Ramirez does get the RBI yesterday. In fact, only one homer on all of those runs that were scratched across with Arias. So, look, we can pretty it up. We can put lipstick on it, but it's still a pig, and I think this pig's going to oink. So we want to take a shot with this Cleveland and the under. Partly the reason for me is because if Flaherty does go out there and shove, I think the under's in play either way. I think if I was only going to do a single play in this game, it would be the under to me. We get that reverse line movement, and it's pretty much the same look as yesterday's game with these two teams. AL Central teams play each other. We know they go under. I just got my belief system involved in the Guardians right now. And it's mostly because these two teams are kind of passing each other at night in the dark. Cleveland's 7-0 in the dog roll after they went over the total by 4 or more runs. So give me the Guardians packaged up with the under for a big score. I told you guys yesterday, we're building cards in an educated manner. Yes, we're casting a wider net. Yes, we're backing down because of baseball. You got so many games in play every single night, but we're winning more money because of it. And we've taken it to the whole PhD level. This is master's class here. Nobody does it like us because we have confidence. We know we're picking at a highly successful rate. We're leveraging trends and angles that are winning at a high rate and then leveraging cash flow splits and analytics to come in there and give us the back end. And so we build a core. We get our core part. We get our core pieces, our core win, the plays that we like, that we think are going to smash. Try to be mindful of the VIG. And then we build some plus money around it and take some swings like this for the huge night. So just so happens the huge night openers at the top of the card. Let's roll on game number 2 really quick. I do not believe it's a Red Sox smash night for 3 reasons. 1, injuries. 2, cash flow. 3, 11-0 spot for the Athletics. Let me talk to you guys about these in that particular order. Right now, 85% of the bets and 85% of the bets and 90% of the cash are on the Red Sox. They opened at minus 174. They've come down 8 cents. And it's not a head fake or reverse flow. It's not the oscillating. We talk about the oscillating side where like the line comes down on the Red Sox, but it goes up conversely on the Athletic side of things. No, this one's come down 8 cents on the Red Sox, meaning all that money thinks the Red Sox are going to smash, and they made it 8 cents cheaper to bet them. But they took 3 cents off that money line on the Athletic side of things from 146 to 143. Total sitting at 9. Hasn't moved. In fact, pretty firm 9. Under 9 plus 105, over 9 minus 105. I mean, it's like right in the middle. So you can't bet the side in this game. I mean, I guess you could if you're a fucking sicko. 48% of the bets and 52% of the cash, but I don't know if you want to. I mean, look, yeah, it's Giolito and Barnett. And I think the problem that all this money saw Giolito, and we've seen Giolito shove. We know that he's been playing probably, I think about Giolito. I think about that Patriots Day game like 5 years ago. He did not shove, but he's got a 10-4 record. So yeah, we look at him and he's been out there and he's been firing, but he gives up runs. Now he's an innings guy. So, he had his peak back on August 26th. He went 8 innings. He went 6, he went 5. He went into the 6th, but he gets hit, 7 hits, 5 hits. There's a 5-hitter in there and he's giving up some runs. So the challenge I have with Boston is just simply the health of the roster. And if you're rolling into the playoffs now, this is where they start fucking around. DHing guys mid-game, and you're like, what the fuck happened? I thought Alex Bregman was supposed to get 2+ hits, runs, and RBIs, and he's not even playing the second half of the game. That's what I'm concerned with. And then you deal with some of these injuries, big injuries in the bats. Now, all of a sudden, you take a team in the Athletics. I talked about them yesterday. Fired up to roll into Fenway. It's a big deal for these guys. Mason Barnett comes in on the other side. Now, Mason Barnett just faced the Red Sox. You know, I like to zig when everyone else is zagging. I'll zag after the zig. The zig was the fact that he got busted up. He got hit 7 times and gave up 3 earned runs. Last time out. That was at home. But he gets his immediate revenge. And you know there's nothing sweeter than that sweet, sweet taste of immediate revenge opportunity that he's got in front of him right now. So we got the cash flow. We got a reverse line movement with the entire world thinking Boston goes out there and shoves. We talked about the roster and some of the injury potentials in this game. And then last but not least is the 11-0. The Athletics are 11-0 in the dog roll after a game where they struck out more than 9 times. They showed shit plate discipline. They work on it. They fire back. And that's one of the more profitable systems across baseball. So I'm going to take the Athletics. I'm going to take a plus 140. Let me say they don't smash. But I know that's going to stir nasty Nate's pot up there. I don't want to upset my guy. I want him in a good mental state as he gets ready to go beat up Atlantic City. So I want to keep in a good, positive state. So the Kill says, thankfully, I have a huge bankroll. Let's see. If you can find Irish King, I'll give you some homework assignment, Irish King, if you don't mind. You show up every day, so I appreciate that. I respect that. Wouldn't task anybody with this, but if you can find a McDavid won't sign with Edmonton contract, maybe more. Let's put it's got to be more than a 1-year deal, right? Like he's not going to sign that, and it's tough because it's going to have to be huge odds. But my assumption would be he signs a big contract and then he gets the fuck out of there anyways. But it can't be so big that nobody else wants to pick it up. And therein lies the limbo. And I think that's the problem that they're at right now. I don't know this for sure, but I'm a prognosticator and a speculator by trade. So there's something going on. What made me say it is that team fucking stinks at goal. They refuse to fix it. And you're wasting the prime years of McDavid life. Wayne Gretzky was already, well, McDavid's going to already be in the Hall of Fame anyways, but Gretzky had trophies, dynasties. So at this point of his playing career in relation to McDavid. So that's kind of where I felt that way out there. But anyhow, let's go. Let's see what you guys have to say. Mike, I took the Guardians plus a half versus 5. Kind of aligns, says Tarek B. Cash Kane. What up? Bill the Kill says those giant bulldogs were not built from sports money followers. Or giant buildings were not built from sports. That's funny. They were not. Peter Grassi said, did I say the Indians? I hope I didn't say that. Oops. AOD in the house. What up, AOD? Cash Kane says Tigers money line. That line not budging. The line came down already. The line already came down. See, that's the other debate that we've been able to sunset. Some people will measure the sharp books, and then they'll see when the limits get removed and how then it moves. I've said this before. If you make a copy of a copy, it's not as clean as the initial document. It's just not. So when you're copying the line that was opened already and then you're changing the limit, you missed the first go. You missed the first whack. We want the first number that hits the street. The first. And we want to see where it's at in relation to all those other books. So why I think that we've had the biggest jump against really anybody else in the industry is because of that belief system. And I don't care where the limits are and the sharp books. I want the first number. Then I want to see how all the rest of the sheep will get in line as they open up their books. You know what I'm saying? Just picking up what I'm putting down. Because if they handicap it based on sharp bettors coming in there and it's no longer plus 106, it's now plus 103. You open it up at plus 103 and you see no movement, you're going to be like, hey, this line's not moving, but that's not true. Peter Grassi says, all 6 runs scored in extra innings. Oh, yeah, for that Reds, Arizona, San Fran, Arizona game. Peter Grassi says, Destiny, not going to like this A's Sox thing. Sorry, he's going to get his car and head to Atlantic City. He's going to have himself a nice time at the bar this weekend with the boys. Jay Main says, I'm on Giolito under 5.5. Go get it, my dude. Tarek B says, I parlayed the Red Sox first 5 plus a half with the Rangers plus half, like a teaser. I like that. Irish King says locked in, had less than 10 minutes games in 5 to 10. Yep. That's the way we do it here. Nessie Nate says they're going to get smashed. All right. All right. All right. Nicholas Handy's in the house. Would you be shocked if he signed a lifetime no trade contract? He ain't signing a no trade contract, dude. And those no trade contracts are bullshit, anyways. They end up getting fucking traded. Wouldn't it be funny if he ended up? There's no way he gets traded to Columbus, but they seem to be fucking bottom feeders. They're like them sharks out there that just drive the market up on everybody else. Not going to make that Wayne mistake again. Chris Max says Gretzky had a drug addict as a goal. He also had a wife that placed his bets for him, allegedly. Actually, it's not allegedly, right? Didn't she plead guilty to that? And man, they made 2 smoking hot daughters. Irish King's got the Padres money line. Nasty Nate says multiplicity. Peter Grassi says, no, you did not say Indians. Okay. All right. I don't care if I did. With Michael Keaton. Doug? Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug. Jay Main says hits allowed. I see. Oh, I got you. Under 5.5 hits allowed is what he was saying. I got you. Irish King says Milwaukee first 5 minus 1.5. Big dumper home run and T-Story home run parlay for my man. Let's go. Okay. Let's keep it moving. See, I'll tell you guys this. Like Pizza Steve. Of course. Pizza Steve was a good one. He's a little slow. Didn't he have the wandering eye too? Dude, my favorite Michael Keaton is when he does the what's that movie? Is it The Wrong Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell? And he's at night he's the manager for the Bed Bath and Beyond. And he starts reading off the sales and he's like, it's gonna be hot. And he's like, there's been 3 rapes in the Chesterfield area. So he's like, oh, wait, that's my other job. And he reads it over and he's like, the bath mats are on sale. And he's like, ignore that first one. He's like, unless you live in the Chesterfield area, then don't ignore that. That's a fucking great movie. You guys, if you don't know the movie I'm talking about, you got to go check that one out. I'm sure you guys do. Kevin Gausman, we are finally, I said this last year, we are finally in that Gausman fade spot. And that gets me jacked up tonight to go out there. Now, Jose fucking Barrios, man, what's going on? What in the fuck, Jose Barrios, dude? Certainly he didn't get his no-hitter through 5. That was a small bet, though. That's the one I told you guys. Like, you can bet literally a couple dollars will equal like a regular unit, right? So it's just kind of a scratch-off at the lottery counter, 55 to 1. But doesn't get the win again. That's 3 games in a row. Now they're winning with this fucking meatball. 2-1 in his last 3 when we bet him outright to get the win, but he hasn't gone to 5 once in those 3 spots. That's why you don't play Pictionary with me, because I don't fucking forget. I might forgive, but I do not forget. And it makes it that much easier. Next time I see Barrios rolling around to be like, this guy's fucked me 3 times on all these ancillary prop bets, so let me leave him alone. Tampa Bay, however, the Rays pop into this one. This line opened at minus 125 on the J side of things. It's moved to minus 130. 79% of the bets, 82% of the cash are on the Toronto Blue Jays. Totals come down a full run. You know the deal. The public's dummying this thing down. This is public money this time of year, I believe. I told you guys this the other day. I have a lot of philosophies that I'll bet behind, but it's because I've been doing this a long time. This time of year, the Sharps have pulled their money up. They're saying we're waiting until the postseason, and now it's just public banging away on this thing, and they love the over. And what the lines come down a full run. But man, that's just a tricky, trappy spot, I feel like, in this case here. Seymour will start with, I feel like I just said that like a little shop of horrors with Seymour. If you guys don't know, that's another good one back in the day. Ian Seymour's a relief pitcher going to come into this thing. And hey, relief pitcher or not, man, he's been going 5. He's been gobbling and he's been shutting things down. Now he has given up 2 earned runs in his last game, but that was at Chicago. So he's back home. Decided advantage, maybe. Can the team get hits around him? Probably not. Look, you want the zigzag effect. He played against Cleveland. Goes 5 innings, gives up just 1 hit. 2 games later, goes against Cleveland. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 5 runs, 1 earned. That's what happens when they have that. Now, that's not immediate bounce back, but there's still some immediacy behind it. And his last game, he went into 6th inning. got hit 4 times, gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned. So that was that White Sox team that we know, again, on the road, flashy, dashy, and a little gassy. Gassing out this time of year, them White Sox, as evidence today with that 3-1 under that we cashed. No sweat bet. Gausman, favorite. 0-10 if he's greater than a minus 125 favorite. In other words, you want to play Gausman when you're not sure what you're going to see. And in this case, this line's telling us we're going to see him shit the bed. Action Jackson says he likes Gausman on the road. Chris Mack knows the movie I'm talking about. It's a good movie, man. That was a good one. The Other Guys. That's right. That's right. That's a good movie. I'm going to have to watch that one again soon. Guido says, don't be selfish. Courtney in a first quarter. David says, Gausman plays great at home only. See, I think I agree with that sentiment right there, David. Yeah, dude, we used to take a lot of trips with buses and watching a lot of movies and shit. So I like to fill them in. I like to make them fit. I'm a man of that. I'm a pop guy. I'm an icon. I follow I follow what's going on. All right, listen. I'm going to add this Padres under with Slick Nick Pivetta. It's not on the card. It's not anything that I was planning to jump into, but we're going to jump in there and we're going to pop it. It's just the fact that we've got Slick Nick, who has truly been slick nicking people. Actually, let me take a look at this. Yeah. So I got a couple books that I wait to see that movement. I told you, no secret. One of them, Caesars. I look to see what Caesars got, and then I want to see that line move around Caesars. I don't know if they're just setting the market, if they're the ones that are early to the parade, but if I don't see it move or it moves in the opposite direction, then it's either pass or no play. But it's not the only indicator for me. I mean, again, fuck, where are you? Stay there. There it is. But look, game starts out. Yeah, we saw yesterday the Mets went out there and exploded. The Padres struggled. Thing about batting, if you're inconsistent, you probably stay inconsistent for a spell. 8 was the total. It's down to 7.5. 97% of the bets, 85% of the cash on the over. Almost everybody in the planet on the over. The Padres went from minus 109 to plus 110 with 86% of the bets and 74% of the cash on the Padres. Do the Mets smash? I don't know. It's David Peterson. David Peterson went through this. This is the Jose Barrios sequence where I said, you don't have to cap it. Fucking dude was a killer for like a 20-game streak. When he was the starter and they were a favorite, he did not lose. Then he fell in like 3 or 4 games, I believe. You can fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's factually accurate. His last game he popped, 3.77 ERA, 9-5 on the season. But Slick Nick, man, this guy's got a sub-3, 2.73 ERA, and the team catches wins behind him. Problem for the Padres in this case is they got the lefty curse going on right now. They do not play well against lefties. It's not even their batting averages. Like, what transcends some of this sports bullshit with us is, some people will look at it and be like, well, they hit 300 against lefties and or against righties, but when they get lefties on the road, they hit down to 180. I mean, anybody can look that shit up. It's the critical thinking process that you have to connect that to the fact that there's 16-0-1 to the under when it's a less than a 9 against a lefty, and the line's bigger than a minus 115. Now, in other words, they're not a huge favorite, meaning that batters would have the advantage against the pitcher, right? If they're a big favorite, they're probably thinking they're going to go out there and smash. Total's less than a 9, so the books are saying it's that key number of 9, and they're saying it's under. And it's lefties. None of that has to do with their fucking ERA, home or road, or batting average, home or road. I'm not saying that those aren't important trends. Yeah, those should be a layer in the cap as you're digging into the card, but putting the trend not moving with the ERA, road and home against lefties with the trend on top of it is just too good to pass up here. 7.5 for us. We'll take the under 7.5. Going to add that little play. Shout out to Chris Mack, gifting a Sports Money membership. Shout out to you, Chris Mack. Let's go, my guy. Cheers. Cheers, brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate you taking some time. Ah, dude, the Dale Earnhardt crash. I told you guys that story. Philly Kill says, I've always been hip with the youngsters under 50 pop culture. I try to stay there. All right, let's go. Last game for the early action, and then we'll wrap her up with a late spot. I'll give you guys the MLB parlay, my WNBA play, and I've got two. I've got an NFL and a college football game. So leaving you guys with plenty of parting gifts. And I think you got to play this college football game because it's going to scream. Look, what do we know? I've told you guys before, I've broken it down as simple as it can be. When the Yankees put a fucking show on with runs, it continues. In other words, when that high-priced, candy-ass lineup starts hitting the ball and seeing it clearly, it continues because they're just too fucking good and they're getting paid too fucking much. When we talked about fading the Brewers, guys were saying, why are you fading the Brewers? It's because you got a bunch of 250 meatballs hitting at 350 or 400. Well, that's not sustainable. This isn't fucking Candyland. It's not fantasy world. But when you got a bunch of 350 meatballs hitting 200, something's got to give. And when the Yankees go out there and they fire specifically over 7 runs, they do, in fact, kick some ass and take some names. And that's the position they find themselves in tonight. 6 or more runs. Road favorite that's not egregious. 17-0 to the over. 17-0. That's 17 straight runs or 17 straight overs. When those bats heat up, they get rolling. And the Twins, in all fairness, look, they're contributing. They're doing their piece. They're 9-0 to the over when they're non-divisional AL opponents after they allowed more than 5 runs. In other words, they win in bunches and they lose in bunches. And it's because they're puking up runs. Perfect. Now, 89% of the bets and 93% of the cash are on the Yankees. This line's come down 27 cents from the initial opening, meaning it's more attractive to bet the Yankees. The 9 has gotten juiced to the over 9. So that's kind of what we want to see. It's sitting around a minus 120 with 90% of the bets and 93% of the cash. I get it. There's a lot of money on that over. Taj Bradley, however, coming into Minnesota, really hasn't had the finest of form since he got on the road. 4.61 ERA overall. Lou Hill. I'm not sure if you say, is it a Hill? Is it Hill? Is it Gill? I don't care. I don't expect that guy to be a Yankee for more than another couple, maybe one more season for this guy. Although he does have a 2.83 ERA. So, yeah, I'll read a little bit of these stats, but it's kind of because I like to look at recent form. You guys know the deal. I zoom in. Let me see the last 3 or 4 games for pitchers. Let me see the last 10 to 14 days for hitters. And look, Taj has been puking his nuts up. 3 runs, 4 runs. There was a 1 in there, but that was against San Diego. There was a 7 in there. That's since he's gotten traded. The guy's given up, 15 runs in 4 games since he's been traded? No need to dwell on this one. We're going to pop the over. Probably see the Yankees do it all themselves, but I don't know. I don't like that line's coming down. And I think that if I could look at why do I suspect that line's coming out if I was trying to read it, it'd be probably because Lou Hill's going to shit the bed. Came off a 6-inning no-hitter. Man, that would have paid. Where was that one? 6-inning no-hitter. What was that? 50-1? Going through 5 innings, no hits? That was at Boston. But, he's given up 1 or 2 runs in his last 5 or 6 games before that. So I don't suspect Minnesota wins, but maybe they're thinking with this line coming down, it's Lou that pukes his nuts up. To me, as long as it's Lou and Taj, I like the over for this thing here. I gave you guys the intersecting zeros for these 2 teams. And when the Yankees get hot, they tend to stay hot. So good enough for me. We'll take the Minnesota Twins. By the way, beautiful weather around these parts. Maybe a little rain in Pennsylvania I saw, but the Northeast is steaming up. The North is steaming up for the next 3 or 4 days. So just in time to finish off the Major League Baseball season with some overs. As we're looking at around 80 degrees there tonight. Speaking of overs, I told you at the start of the show, no breakdown necessary. You're going to continue to disrespect that opportunity. We're going to continue to stick it right in your ear. 10-0 to the over, non-divisional opponent in a revenge game at home. Home revenge. They heat up. They take it serious. And why wouldn't you? You're playing against the Phillies. Now it's Jesus. But Jesus on the road, and Jesus coming off one of his best starts of the season. 8 innings against the Mets. He gave up 4 runs, but it was 8 innings. Phillies have already batted down 2 of these series. I don't know. I think this is a good opportunity for us. Knowing that non-divisional revenge spot. Hey, it's a 7.5. We could see now. Probably you got to look at the Dodgers in this spot. I wanted to share something, by the way. Well, I'm thinking about it since we're friends, since we're all friends. Plus 15.9, plus 6.4, plus 21.8, plus 10.2, plus 15.5, plus 4.2, plus 13, plus 19.8, plus 11, plus 18.5. 10 straight seasons of teams facing a sweep at home. Profitable. This season, minus 21.6. So when those guys are telling you they're not going to get swept at home, they're losing. If that's where their cap ends, they are losing, and they are losing mighty. Now, that being said, Blake Snell in this position, 13-0 at home, allowing no more than 1 run his previous start. So probably a Dodger spot tonight. That leads me to the parlay, but I'm going to go back on this over. You're going to keep giving me 7.5. I'm going to take it and stick it in your ear. Your eye hole, as my friend Sharpie likes to say. And then last but not least, I got to parlay the Brewers and the Dodgers. Yeah, we cashed last night on that Brewers. We're probably the only ones in North America to find a way to make that a profitable payday like that, in that fashion as it was. I told you got to probably take a minus 2.5 or 3.5 to turn it into some plus money. So be it. It was what it was. But Suriano's a pile of dog shit. I mean, that's where this thing begins and ends. And you got the Angels team that's not hitting. So Woodruff's K-prop is one of the highest it's been. You know, I've talked before about like staying up. I told you guys last night, Michael King's K-prop, the price tag went down, meaning they made it more attractive to bet him. And when props do that, they're usually fucking losers. Well, Michael King was a loser. Woodruff's got the highest tagline of the season for himself here at 7.5. So they're expecting him to go out there and shove. He's got a 3.32 ERA. That makes a lot of sense. Siriano, I say he's a pile of dog shit. I think he's probably my favorite Angel pitcher, but his last few starts have been compromising at best. He does have a nice strikeout to walk ratio, though.
I didn't get that. Did you try again?
No, I can't, Siri. You're suspended, Siri. I didn't even say Siri. Oh, I guess I said Siriano. Yep, that does it. In any event, look, Brewers isolated power, 129 over the last 2 weeks. Probably not going to be a minus 1.5, minus 2.5 spot out there, but I'll parlay. I'll take some of that juice off of them and slap them with them Dodgers. Makes it plus 142. So I'm not really flirting around with that Brandon Woodruff number here because 7.5. I mean, 45 strikeouts over his last 37.1 innings. It's a big number. The Angels are striking out 32.3%. It's the most in baseball over the last 2 weeks. So you got a high number. It's only getting bigger. Makes sense. The Milwaukee Brewers are the play. And then I just gave you the trend for the Dodger side of things there. So that's how we're going to put the bow on baseball. Now we got WNBA. We got college football. We got the NFL. 3 spots. Let's see if we can't make them bookies pay the price tag of giving us early action, giving us early lines. Let's see what you guys have to say. Chris Warren says Judge, Jazz, Stanton, or Belly. Stanton. Just because I feel like everyone's going to say Judge. Over hits, runs, RBIs. Peter Grassi says something's got to give. That's a movie line or title, right? Might be. Chris Warren says heel. Okay, that's what I thought it was, dude. Sometimes I think it and then I geel. I don't know what the fuck I do. Jay Main's on the Twinkies, though. He's going to take that plus money shot. Nasty Nate says they took him out and we got a hit. Jimmy says, let's go. Let's go, Jimmy. All right, guys. WNBA spot we're going to get involved with here. Look, You've probably heard the narrative. You've probably heard the situation. First and foremost, Golden State got busted up. Minnesota Lynx, best team in the league. I told you my suspicion, and I probably not alone with this, was potential Minnesota Liberty. Liberty defending champs. The reason I took Las Vegas out of there is because they kind of had their couple of year run, and the tread starts to wear off the tires when they just continue to play too much. I told you the postseason shrinks down and the exposure to injury increases. They're all facts, right? I mean, that's just the way it works. Like Steph Curry factor. We're just going to call that the Steph Curry factor going forward. Kansas City's got the Steph Curry factor going on. Kansas City Chiefs right now. Can't have that shrunken postseason, and you got to win. That's why teams that come off the postseason Super Bowl loss don't typically win to kick things off. They went all that way. They didn't get the pride and glory. And that's probably why Aljamain Sterling will lose when he fights for the championship belt. Because he had it and he lost it. Now he's rounding his game out as a wrestler, and maybe that'll give him one last hurrah, but we'll see. In any event, I digress. The Golden State Valkyries down. But we want the Golden State Valkyries in the dog spot with plus money, plus points on the road. They're on the road. Now, the thing about this game, these Valkyries have played this Minnesota Lynx team 3 times in the last 4 games. And now your back's against the wall. If that doesn't get you going and get you ready, how many times? Now, they just lost 101-72. Last 2 games, by the way, they were in Minnesota. So they finished the season off with shit spot. They finished the season off against the number 1 team in Minnesota. Then open up the playoffs against the number 1 team in Minnesota. And they got busted up both times in Minnesota, where they play strong defense, no doubt about it. But the time before that they played was at Golden State. It's a 6-point loss. Can they beat a team 4 times in 5 games? The same team? Probably. They're that good. They're averaging 86 points, but Golden State's averaging 78. Now, the thing about, I don't know who scheduled it, but their home arena, not available. So they're packing things up and going like 45 minutes down the road. So it's not a home game. It is a home game, but it's not a home game. And we know that the Valkyrie on the road tended to be a good play for us throughout the season. Now, obviously at Minnesota, the last 2 games, not so much. But this is a big number. And look, the last time the Minnesota Lynx went on the road, 83-72, lost to the Fever that I gave out yesterday. So we're going to take them. We're going to take the Golden State Valkyries. We're going to take the full game. We're going to expect it not to be, look, even if it is a beatdown, bust them up, drag them out, they smash, as our friend Nasty Nate would say. Well, there's still the potential that they just rest all their starters for the second half of that game. And then that's when the back door closes. And Golden State's, I know it's not a true home game, but they're not just going to roll it in at home. They're not just going to pack it in and be like, fuck it, we just got busted up. They're going to keep trying. They're going to fight till the end. They can't do that in front of the home crowd. But I think that's the spot that we want to get involved with. So I'm going to I'm going to take the points. I think that's a good looking solution for us. Let's talk some college football right fast. We'll wrap it up with some NFL and we'll put the bow on this show. As we do, you got to look at this Rice game. It's Thursday night against the Charlotte Squadron here. Pull it up real quick. I should have had this up already. My bad. The Rice Owls went from -6.5 point road favorites to a -2. Now, these are 2 shit games. These are 2 shit teams, and they're in a prime time window battling up against the NFL. So for whatever that's worth, being on the island game, these kids should be fired up. The lines come down from 45.5. There's some 43.5s out there. And there's some 42.5s out there. And it's continuing to drop. The 43.5's the cup of coffee. Well, it's on its way to 42.5 and probably closes at 41.5 by the time we pop off. 39% of the bets are on the under. So the public likes the over. 69% of the cash are on the under. Let me tell you why. It has to do with offense versus defense, and this one is tailor-made for an under. Neither of these 2 teams can fucking score. Period. Last year, this year, it don't matter what year. Overall, boy, it's just ugly. When you look at these two and you look at the numbers behind them, it's like I saw this and I was like, wow. I think the one team had, let me get it exact. Let me be exact with you guys. I don't want to just come out here and willy-nilly this thing. You guys deserve better than just somebody saying, I'm going to lean this way. No, I already played this. Rice was held to 14 and 9 points in the first 2 games of the season. Now, they played Louisiana, not a big Raging Cajun fan. And they played the Cougars. We know the Cougars can coug. Scored 38 points against Prairie View. That's an FCS school. And their offense ranks 117th in the nation. They have a run-heavy offense, so they should tick that clock. 13.7 passing attempts and 70 yards a game through the air. This game's going to be on the ground. And then on the other side of things, third and rushing attempt. Oh, man, it's just Charlotte only scored 14 points in his first 2 games combined. App State and North Carolina, I get it, some bigger schools. So this is definitely a step down in class. But again, they go against an FCS school. They scored 28 points against Fordham and 39 points against Colgate. 244 yards of offense in those 2 games against FBS schools. Their quarterback, Connor Harrell, sucks. I don't say sucks, but they benched him. He got benched already this point of the season. You prep with the dude all off season. You put him in there, and 3 games in, you're playing 2 big guys and then a couple cupcakes, and you sit the guy. So get in on this under. It's time to play this under 43.5. I know it's primetime unders, but there's a little bit more to it. It's the way these teams can't pass. Even though their secondaries for both teams can be vulnerable, and if they could pass, they could potentially exploit it, as you saw by teams like UNC putting up points on these guys in Appy State. But they're run-heavy teams, and they're playing against teams that can stop the run. So this game's just a tick, 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 grind them out, let it go on its way on down, and be done with it. So we're going to take that spot. We got the cash flow moving in the right direction. We're going to try to beat that line. I know it's tomorrow, but what I suspect and why I'm giving it to you guys today is when the public wakes up tomorrow and realizes there's only 1 game on for college football, they're going to pound away on that under when they see what I just shared with you guys. And that's where it's going to move to 41.5. Derek B says, Mike, would you parlay the Liberty with the Lynx second half? No. Maybe. No. The Lynx second half. I suspect the Lynx in the second half are going to sit players, and that's where the back door is going to open up for Golden State. So, no, I wouldn't do that. Something's got to give. Jack Nicholson, says Peter Gracia. Philly Kill says Miami dropped to -7.5. Wait to maybe 7. Or just let it ride till Saturday. Miami's winning. It's just a matter of how many touchdowns. Delay in Tampa, says Redbeard. All right. Next game I got for you guys. Where is it? NFL spot for us to lock down early. So I gave you guys the Dallas Cowboys +1.5. I know the injuries, but it's the Chicago Bears. And I told you when they go off script, Caleb Williams looks absolutely fucking garbage. So new coach, they still haven't figured it out. And this kid can't think on his own 2 feet. Cowboys are shifting past 0. They're now -108. So we wanted to beat that spot out there. Spot number 2 I want to get involved with here. NFL for the season. I know we've made some money on them, but we're going to fade them Los Angeles Chargers. Sorry, Ramon, if you're still here listening. Broncos for us. We're going to take the 2.5 with the Broncos. And probably they win outright, but we'll just take the 2.5 because we caught that 2-point loss. We had the 2.5 for the Indianapolis. Well, I guess it wasn't a 2-point loss. The Colts actually came back and won the game outright. But in any event, 69% of the bets and 72% of the cash are on the Chargers. This total's moved up from 44.5 to 46, with 83% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the under. It's going over. It's at SoFi. So it's finally a home game for this LA Charger squad that just went out there and downed Las Vegas here on Monday Night Football. Problem is, now they got a short rest turnaround spot to start things off. Second, it's the bye low sell high scenario that I talk about so frequently. You got this Chargers team coming in 2-0. And the Broncos just did us a solid. They haven't covered yet this season, and they just lost outright to the Indiana Jones. I did end up with Indiana Jones as my quarterback in fantasy after the Joey Burrow shit the bed situation out there. So they lose outright. They don't cover the spread their last two, and we got the Chargers who have been coming in here on a 2-0 cover. It's not about the Broncos not covering the spread. It's about the way that they didn't cover the spread, and it has to do with just not as a defensive organization, one of the top 5 defenses in the league, allegedly. I just use that based off of daily fantasy football rankings. When I was doing the draft, I saw they should be a top 5 defense. Everyone's talking about their top 5 defense. Well, they had 27 and a half minutes of possession in that Colts game. So that defense, despite however they were playing, wasn't able to go out there and get the big stops to put that offense back on the field to win the game. And when that happens, the Broncos are 11-0. They had less than 28 and a half minutes of possession time. They are 11-0 against the spread. Probably wrong team favored. Let's take the plus 2.5 with the Denver Broncos. And let's roll on, boys and girls. That's going to do it for us here tonight. That's the way we put the bow on this show. Denver Broncos is the second official play of the NFL betting week. We can catch a minus 102 out there, by the way. A minus 102. It does exist. It's crazy, but could go to a 3. I don't know. I don't think so. I think at this point, I think we see this thing's going to table out a little bit. We'll probably see some injury report news coming through here tomorrow, and that'll give us a better look at who's going to be playing and who's not. We've seen some, this Chargers team can get banged up with the best of them. And the question is, what are we going to get from the Broncos? I think it's a bounce back spot. And again, 2-0 versus 0-2 spread wise, perfect opportunity for us to go fire, especially after losing as a favorite outright there against the Indianapolis Colts. So that's it. That's all I got. Action, and more action, you guys. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy yourself a nice evening. I hope you guys make a ton of cash. I appreciate my man, Chris Max, gifting us Sports Money membership, coming through, helping us continue to grow this community. You guys hit that thumbs up button on the way out the door if you haven't done so already. And we'll be back tomorrow to give you guys more 9 a.m. the morning steam with Ramon Scott. I'll be back at 6 p.m., but there's a live stream tonight. Starts here in about 18 minutes. Should have our guy rolling. Sean Fox, he loves his player props. WNBA player props particularly, so make sure you guys check it out. Enjoy your evening, and good luck to everybody out there. Shout out to East County Sports Network. Says, thank you, Sports Money. Appreciate all you guys, man. Have a great night. Good luck with your cash. Get that money, and I'll see you guys back here